This video is for the notes missing sides in similar triangles. So you're going to need two colors of highlighters and then your pencil or your pen. Okay, so with similar shapes, how they name them matters. So this triangle here is PQR, and the order that those letters are in matters. This one down here is XYZ, and again, that order matters. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to find this missing side length. So the first thing that I always do is highlight the side that's missing. Highlight what I'm trying to find. So we're going to do that in your first color. It doesn't matter if it's blue. But this side right here is side XZ. And so I'm going to highlight those letters, X and Z. So the matching side on this smaller triangle would also have to be the first and the last letters. So P and R. So you can play connect the dots, but PR is the matching side to XZ. All right, so to do this, we're going to set up a proportion. So we need one other set of data to use. So we're going to use side PQ. So if you notice, P and Q are the first two letters. So X and Y would be the matching side on the bigger triangle. Oops, sorry that highlighted all the way. It should have been just X and Y that got highlighted. So let me mark that out here. We don't need all that extra. So once we've highlighted our diagram, we're going to set up a proportion, and we do proportions using tic-tac-toe. So I've got a small triangle and a big triangle. So those are going to be my top two labels, small triangle and big triangle. And then the two colors that I used orange and I used blue. And so now I can fill in my information. So this box right here is going to be the small triangle, the orange side, which would be 4. This box here would be the small triangle and the blue side, which would be 9. This one is going to be the big triangle and orange, which is 6. And this one here is going to be the big triangle in blue, which is our X. So to solve tic-tac-toe, we cross multiply and then we divide. So to solve this one, we would do 9 times 6 divided by 4. And so X equals 13.5. All right, so on the inside here, again, the name and the order of that name matters. So we've got D, E, F, and A, B, C. And I'm stacking them up this way just because it makes it easier to highlight the letters. So we're looking for AC. So AC is right here, and AC are the first and the last letters. So on the other triangle, I need the first and the last letters. So D and F. So connect the dots. And then the only other number that I have is here on DE. And so those are the first two letters. So I have to pick the first two letters down here, A and B. And so again, we can set up the tic-tac-toe. So this time, this one's my big triangle. This one's my small. And I'm using the same color. So those are my labels here. And so big triangle, blue side is 25. Big triangle, orange side is 30. Small triangle, blue side, that's my missing. Small triangle, orange side is that 24. And then we cross multiply and then divide. So we would do 24 times 25 divided by 30. And X would be 20. So this next one is a prism, and they're a little bit different because it's not named. So my missing side here is the X, and this is the height of the prism. And you can see here that this side kind of connects those two triangles I have. So the side that matches it would be this one. This one also connects. And then you can use these little marks, these angle marks, to match up too. So you can see these two just have one angle mark. These two have two angle marks. And then I can't use this 16.8 because there's no number here. So I can only have one unknown when solving a proportion. So I have to use this side labeled 8. And that matches up with this one labeled 10. Okay. So this will be my small, this will be my big. Orange, blue. All right, small orange is 8. Small blue is 4.8. Big orange is 10. Big blue is X. So we cross multiply and then divide. So 4.8 times 10 divided by 8, and X equals 6. Okay, so in the next one, we have names again, and it's so much easier when they name these to match everybody up. All right, so we are looking, let's just match up because there's only 2 things labeled here. So S and R are the last 2. So the last 2 here are Y and Z. So that's going to be our unknown side up there because it doesn't have a label. And then the other label that we have is here on Q and R, which are the middle 2. So Q and R matches up with X and Y. All right, so small and big. So the labels are important to use. It makes sure that you're getting the pieces in the right places. All right, so small orange is 3. Small blue is 5. Big orange is X. And big blue is 7. So we cross multiply and then divide. So 3 times 7 divided by 5 gives me 4.2. All right, so this next problem is multi-step. So it says pentagon A, B, C, D, E is similar to pentagon R, S, T, U, V. It tells me the perimeter of ABCD is 36.8 centimeters, and it's asking what is the length of ST. So ST are letters 2 and 3. So B and C are letters 2 and 3. And if you see here, that side is not labeled, but I know the perimeter. So the perimeter is what happens when I add all 5 sides up. So to find just that missing side, I can take 36.8 and subtract all the known sides, which gives me 6. So this side is 6. So that's what I meant by multi-step. And then I can't pick any other side. I have to use this one, this UV, because that is the only other number that I have over here. So UV is the last 2. So DE is the last 2. So those are the sides we have to use. So small and big, orange and blue. So small orange is 6, small blue is 13.2, big orange is our missing, that's the one we're looking for, and big blue is 33. So we cross multiply and then divide. So we've got 33 times 6 divided by 13.2, and X equals 15. So that is an actual STAR question. I believe that one was on the STAR test a few years ago. So before we do the next 2, these are the other options for STAR test. I want to kind of give you an example of what we're looking for when we're doing these. So think of these shapes like basketball teams, okay? So here's the example we used today in class. So we're going to compare Craig, their basketball team, with Man's basketball team, okay? And then over here, we're going to use positions. So we're going to talk about the point guard first. So the point guard for Craig is Ben, okay? And the point guard for Man is Steve. So these 2 guys are related, not because they go to the same school, but because they're both point guards for the basketball team. So another basketball position is the post. So the post for Craig is Cruz. And so Ben is related to Steve because they're both point guards, and Ben and Cruz are related because they're both on the same team. So you've got to find those relationships. Everybody that you're next to, you have to have a relationship with. And so I think we said the post for man was Bob. So either you've got to be on the same team or on the same figure, or you have to be in the same position. So that's what we're doing when we look at these, is we're just setting up and making sure that the proportions are set up. So we start making comparisons. So A and E and C and D, they're related because they're on A, E, C, D. They're on the same team. So if A and E and C and D are on the same team, that means these two, A and E and X and Y, A and E, X and Y, have to be in the same position. Well, they're not. A and E are the first and the last. X and Y are somewhere here in the middle. So those two things are not related. That proportion cannot be true. All right, so here again, we're trying to make connections. So A and B and Y and Z are not on the same team. So they have to be in the same position. So A and B, Y and Z are definitely not in the same position. So that proportion's out. All right, B and C and D and E, those are in the same position. So that means B and C, all right, here's B and C, and X and Y have to be in the same position. And they're not. So that one's out. All right, so last one. A and B, C and D, they're on the same team. A and B, V and W. A and B are the first two letters. V and W are the first two letters. So that one works. V and W and X and Y, they're on the same team, which means X and Y, all right, X and Y have to be in the same position as C and D, which they are. Okay, now this one's already filled out with the information. So let's look at A and B first. A and B are on different teams, which means if they're on different teams, they have to be in the same position. And that's not true. A is in between the 3 marks and the 1 mark. Sorry, guys. B is in between the 2 marks and the 1 mark. So those do not work. All right, so 3.2 and A. All right, those guys are on the same team, so that works. So that means 3.2 and 2 have to be in the same position, which they are, so that works. 2 and 8 then have to be on the same team. Okay, that works. And then 8 and 2, A and 8, have to be in the same position, which they are. So that's it for this video. I hope that helps you get your notes filled out from yesterday.